Hello, hey guys. Welcome to the part 16th of welcome to the part 16 of the stream where I'll continue building the BIP44 HD Crypto Vault, which is essentially an air gap device that offers you security that's basically used in nuclear reactors and put that security at your fingertips. So we have made some really good progress in the last 3 weeks. I have not been able to stream because I was working on the custom Linux OS for the Vault. Let me pull up the architecture design here. So this is what we essentially are building. The Vault side of things and the wallet side of things. And this Vault is what's run on the Raspberry Pi and has a custom Linux OS and the application. And on this end, this wallet app is essentially what interacts with the Vault using QR codes and has the usual tech stack. So I've been busy working on the custom Linux OS of this and making it work on the Raspberry Pi with the small screen. I did upload some pictures on the Twitter. If you haven't seen it, this is essentially what the crypto world will look like. It's essentially a touchscreen plugged into the Raspberry Pi board, and you don't really have to make any connections or anything. You just buy these two parts and you get a SD card. You write the files on the SD card and you simply switch it on. That's essentially it. This screen will be a touch screen, so you can interact with it. And I also uploaded one more picture. Here you go. This is how essentially it will run and will look like. So, and it's, oh sorry, there is also another part that you require, which is a webcam that's attached with it so that you can scan QR codes. So I've been busy working on this, and we're getting very close. I'm essentially left with these 13 tasks that I hope to complete by the end of this week, and then I'll work on publishing the source code and the documentation for it on GitHub and publish this project to the community essentially. So today, not some of these tasks are like little ones and won't really take much time, but some other tasks are like quite hard. Like UI work is a lot of work. Essentially, these tasks is some good amount of work. And then signing transaction is the actual functionality that's left, and everything else is pretty much done. These are some announcements or something that I gotta watch out before I publish. So essentially that. Let's uh, let's get started with this script actually. Let's see. So essentially, I also wrote a bash script which compiles, like put together the custom Linux operating system that you gotta put on the Raspberry Pi. So what it does is it's based on a project called TinyCo. It's essentially a very small Linux operating system, which can be as small as 16 megabytes. It's really tiny, and that's why it has the name Tiny in it. So they have a variant Pico, which is meant for ARM architecture, and Raspberry Pi runs on ARM architecture. So this script essentially downloads the Pico. It downloads it from their site, and then start customizing it as and makes it adapt to our use case. So like modifies the boot codes for the Linux kernel and some different parameters that are required, increase the size of it, the partitions, download certain extensions, and at the end of it, it will give you a IMG file, a disk image file, which you can simply use a simple software or a Linux command line to just write all those files to the SD card. You plug that SD card into the Raspberry Pi, you plug the power cord, and it boots up. That's pretty much it. But the extension that I've been using for this is one that I got from the forum itself, and there is one thing that I gotta change about it. See, when sometimes it's downloading dependencies, I'll show you an example. Let's say I'm trying to download this package over here. It essentially enables me to use the webcam on the Raspberry Pi. So the way that script download is, it uses this URL and downloads all of these dependencies one by one. But the issue is this certain packages, like if I show you the dependencies this way, and the very first dependency, like if we check the dependency of the first dependency, you'll see it has a kernel in its name, and that's something that we got to replace by the actual kernel version. But the script currently works based on this URL, so this version is incorrect. So gotta fix that in the script. So I think we'll just start with that and see whether we can make changes in the script, and that will be enough, or we gotta write our own script. Let's see. So this is here, it uses .tree URL, and I gotta use .dep and then do the recursive manner. I might have to write my own script because in the .tree URL, all the dependencies are listed. Like the dependencies of the dependencies are listed further until you get to those packages which don't have any dependencies. And in this case, you gotta parse this out and recursively look for dependency of each dependency until you find none. Okay, how can we do this? So over here I have .tree. Let's see, 11 arm7. URL is this. This is the first argument that's passed to the script, which is the name of the package. Then .tc.tree, and if it says in case you call it with info, then it does a list of all of it. Running log, remove previous copy. Okay, here it downloads the tree file, this one. And I forgot what does this do. So let's look that up. Okay, exit status. Oh, okay, exit status. So if they duplicate, I think they are simply checking for the URL to be a valid one, not found 404 error. That's what they're checking against. And if this exists, then they attempt to download that extension, and they download this. They pipe the progress output to dev null, and then check the status again. Extension exists but has no dependency, so create a tree file. How did they infer that this means that okay, I'm confused. I think this URL should be so does the let's check whether what's the URL for this package over here. Okay, so if package does not have any dependencies, .tree URL is 404. It's kind of a mess how the repository is structured, but that's what we gotta work with. So downloads the tree here, and if it is not equal to 0, that means it's an error. So that means it doesn't exist. Okay, it's a not equal to check. Right. So then there is no tree. Very it's a package that does not have any dependency, so it does just downloads that package and be done with it and exits over here. Okay. And in case don't need to worry about this. Hmm. Okay, removes all white space, sorts alphabetically, and remove duplicate entries, and puts that into the extension.list. So if this failed, as in the tree did exist, then how does this command gets it input? Uh, I'm just checking with the stream is functional fine. Okay. So yeah, over here. It might be easier to do my own script, I think, but because this essentially does the all these operations, but on this. So I don't understand how does it gets output out of the wget command. And the type is .tcz.tree unless you replace it with this. Okay. So if I run this script like fetch extensions script and then a package name, let's say wbar.tcz, or I think just wbar. That's how we invoke it. Yeah, just the name. I'll also have to keep a tab on the chat here. Hey guys, thanks. Okay, extension would be wbar and type would be .tcz.tree. So yeah, this is something that will look like this. So wbar.tcz.tree. So how it will, like, I don't understand how this file gets its data here. What am I missing? think it would be easier if we attempt to just write the script ourselves. Let's give that a go. Fetch dependencies. Let's just call it fetch. Copy the shebang. And let's start. So the way we would be invoking this script is essentially in this manner. We'll be handling over the package name to it. Just quickly checking how the script is essentially used. Okay, this is the only usage. So now it will be invoked with a package name. So we got a if this is the package that's been invoked, we will first download this package and then check for its dependency by .tree, and if it doesn't exist, then simply skip and go to the next one. Okay. We'll need a bunch of variables like this script over here. So let's copy over these variables over here. Repository download from, Tinyco version, architecture, and the URL becomes why would it say TCC here? Oh, it does. Okay, TCC here, and the extension is Tinyco essentially calls these packages as extensions, so we'll go with that convention. Extension specified while invoking the script. Okay, so URL becomes ext. So this is the URL we will download this from, but since we'll be doing a lot of this, we need a function to do this recursively. Okay, let's call it download, and then the commands will come inside of it. How does it receive its argument? What function is invoked, like where? Passing arguments. The pass parameters are $1, $3, corresponding to the position of the parameter of the function's name. Okay, so like this. So $1 here again will be the extension that we're dealing with. Okay, let's see. So this is the extension available at this URL. Oh, do we not have? Okay, for comments we gotta use hash and bash, and then the URL to download this extension is this, and the script is supposed to be called in a directory where it will download the files in the same directory. So it's meant to create a directory, copy the script over there, call it with as many packages as you want, and then delete the script itself or move it out, and then you have the folder with all the dependencies. So if I invoke it with a particular extension, it forms that URL and it will attempt to download it. But before downloading it, it will check whether it already exists. So got to check for the existence of it, and that's done by F switch like this. So if the file exists, then we simply echo already exists and then exit out of this function. So can we just return out of this? Return out of the function, return. Okay, return. Bill, if we already have this extension downloaded and we got a okay, since this will bail out, and if we are getting to the next line of execution, that means we are essentially in an else case for it. So we will download the extension here. We'll use the quiet flag over here so that it doesn't bother us with the wget command output. And let's see, wget q url and piping this to devnull and standard error to standard input. Forgot what this used to do, so let's quickly look that up as well. This page gotta have it. Standard error to standard in, standard out. Okay. And the output goes to devnull. Okay. Over here, it only checks for the existence of it since it's a spider flag. I missed that earlier. Never mind. Okay. Let's see. Download the extension, and the URL for that will be URL. That looks right. Okay. Now we gotta check for dependencies of this extension. So for that, we'll first try pinging the .tree URL, which will be. Do I gotta check like they were doing? I guess URL and that's gotta be suffixed with .tree. So .tree. I'll have to see whether this and this parses out correctly, but we'll do that in a second. Wget q spider ul3 output goes to devnull and 2 greater than &1, right? So it will attempt to download this. I've got to check the status code for it, right? So let's try to do that first. wget ashwin.com 404. Echo, what was it again? Dollar question mark. Dollar what? Okay, so that was an error. Wget status codes. Okay, and if this is just wget and then we do that, it will give us 0. Yep. Okay, so we ran this command and We gotta check for the status code of the last command, that was wget here. And if it's 0, that means there are dependencies to download. Then if then fee, right? Yes, if then else fee. If then else fee. Okay. We have dependencies for this extension, so we'll simply call this function recursively. If not, then it's done and we can simply get out of here. Could it be that simple? I mean, like, we're obviously making certain customizations here, but that looks like it. Okay. Okay. So if we do have dependencies, we gotta download the dependencies first. But if we don't, then the entire point of invoking the script was downloading that extension, which we just did over here. And nothing else to do here actually. So don't even need else here. To download the dependencies, what I gotta do is download the URL and suffix that with .tree. Yeah, .tree. Actually, at this point, since we attempt to download the dependencies, instead of just checking it as spider, we can just download it over here, dep.txt, so that if it was able to download it, we would have something in dependencies.txt file and we can just use it and we won't have to issue another HTTP request. That makes sense. And if it doesn't, then this must be an empty file. Right. Okay, so then it simply becomes we read from this file and we get dep.txt. So for every line in this file, which will be an extension, we gotta do this for loop. And how do we end this for loop? With done, do and done. Okay. And with each iteration, what you gotta do is call the download function again, which will check for the existence of file and everything. Down. How do we invoke the function? Do we use parentheses here? Um, where are we invoking it? Just hello world here, just my function here. Okay, just without the parentheses. Okay, download and pass the name of the extension here. Can this be empty though? We can essentially handle that over here. Bash if does it say anything about checking for empty variable in here? Iteration for working with directories, working with arrays, conditionals, yes. Empty string dash z. Why they have double square brackets here though? Oh well. Note that double square bracket is actually a command program that returns either 0 or 1. Okay. Oh, gotcha. That's how you can use it with if. Okay. $Z, $1. So if this is an empty string, if then return fee. Ensure extension is non-empty. Then it forms a URL. If it exists, peel out, downloads it. Not really checking for the existence of this. They should throw an error if there is an error here to just warn us. Perhaps we can use some kind of output, like if you invoke this script for, let's say, WR package, then it will say okay, not found, kind of a thing. Okay, we'll get to that. Let's add a to do here. Show message if we couldn't download the extension or some error happened, like if we misspelled a package or extension name, then this would show that here. Dependencies. Okay. So you gotta try running it now. Let's see. It's not here. Where did I save it? It's right here. Oh no, it's in the temporary directory. Okay, gotta move that out here. Yep, okay. Now we have it, right. Okay, let's set the executable bit for this script. What? Oh, I misspelled it. Now when we invoke it like this, what is going on? Fetch.sh. Okay. Okay. It says we have an error at line 23. Maybe it doesn't like it. Why my tab isn't functioning? What is going on with my keyboard? What? What is going on? I think my keyboard is acting up. Gotta restart Visual Studio Code, I think, once. Everything functional here? Looking alright? Yeah. Okay, let's check this. Everything seems to be working well. That was weird what happened. Let's just hope that it's gone now. Okay, it functions now. I can press tab. Okay, let's try invoking that again. Fetch .sh. with just the name. It says line 23 error over here. Oh, because this variable doesn't exist. Okay, so the download function should be invoked with this parameter. Okay, this needs to be defined first and only then it can be called. So I'm gonna copy this here, run it again. Now it says line error on 20, which is this again. What's it complaining about? Syntax error near unexpected token then. So do you want then to be on a new line? Oh, that's it? Okay. No extension name given. But if a dependency, this gets called here, then this will also, I think it's okay to silently ignore it unless it's over here, the very first row. So we can duplicate this over here. If then no extension name given, return, and don't even actually need this. Let's get it here. No extension given, return. Don't even need to return because we're not inside of a function. No extension name given, download 1, exit 0. In this case, we can exit with an error status code. So let's do that here. Because any non-zero status code that's written from any program in Linux means something went wrong. So we're indicating why are you invoking us if you don't have an extension for us to download. And if this wasn't, it calls it. Okay, looks good. Error, no extension name given. Sweet. Now if I give it a name, it didn't say anything, but did it do anything in the directory? It did not. So we gotta find out what went wrong here. So this hash frame must have been invoked here. So let's get an output going here. Echo. Echo by default creates a new line, so we might be good using printf here. The name of the extension will go over here. Let's call it downloading. Might you want to use echo in this case here? Let's see. Hash frame downloading and then it ends. So if it's not empty, then this clearly didn't hit this, and in this case we'll silently skip, because the first invocation we are checking explicitly, and every other recursive calls you want to fail silently. That's what you want to do here. Okay, it must have gotten to this point and then checked for existence. If it was existing, we would have thrown this. Because it did not, it did this. Let's remove this flag here so that we can see some output. No output here again. Okay. Okay, it does form the URL. If the file exists, which it does in this case, it will attempt to download this. And oh, I think this is standard output. The output of it goes to this file, and all the errors are gone to standard input, which essentially is routed to this, so we don't see anything. And if I were to remove this, I think we'll see something. No, let's remove this flag as well. Error not found, right? So yeah, it's failing at this point. Which I think we can show here using this. If then we, and what you want to do is here is you want to actually do not equal to 0. And how do we do not equal to in bash? Oh, like this only, okay. Not equal to 0, that means we got an error, so simply display that error. Right, okay. Why do we have an extra line here though? If this was an extension, it still says error. What the hell? Oh, this URL is supposed to have .tcz suffix to it. Okay, this time I downloaded it. And if I run it again, it will say already exist and should be locked. Okay, cool. Let's get those parameters back here. If you could not download the extension, some error happened. Error could not download. And $1. Error could not download hash frame. Okay. W bar already exists. Downloading, and suddenly it downloaded it. Okay, so we will check for dependencies. Do we have a dep.txt file? We do. It's empty though. One thing I want to make sure is at the invocation of each script, this file is empty. It can't be empty though, because let's say we're downloading an extension that has like 5 dependencies, and the very first dependency has further dependencies. So how do we handle that? Because it's the same file. Perhaps if we append to this file instead of overwriting it, that will do it. But that might be an issue considering that we have already read the file when we started looping over it, which is here. So if more lines get added to this, will this loop keep on iterating over those, or it will ignore because it has already read those files? Bash for loop. I'm pretty sure it won't, because before the very first iteration of this loop can run, this command has already executed and it won't be executed again. So that won't work. But The good thing is, because it is read it is in memory and we can overwrite it, I think. Yeah, I think so. So let's say we are downloading this package. So it will download these three things. And for the very first one, like it already has the name of these threes as soon as it did cat, and then it has started iterating over it. It's iterating over this one. And while fetching the dependencies of this one, we got further. So we can definitely override the dep.txt file. Okay, this will work. Pretty sweet. Download dependencies. Okay, I lost my thought of train. So we download it, we ensure the name is non-empty, we form the URL, and forming the URL here is kind of useless. I mean, not useless because, yeah, kind of useless because .tree comes after .tcz, so the tcz can come here, and over here it can simply be URL, and now it's valid. Okay, let's try to download the big package and see how it reacts. Remove wbar make directory playground. Let's move this script to playground and call it with that package. It is just trying to see whether it keeps on downloading stuff or not. Okay, that test failed out real quick. Did I not use the right name? What happened here? B4L2 utilities.tcc. Why is that? Oh, I'm not supposed to say TCC at the end, that's why. Okay, that didn't look like it worked. It downloaded the TCC, okay. What does it have in dep.txt? Nothing. And it downloaded this tree file over here, which isn't what you want to do. You want to do dependencies, my bad. Let's try that again. Fetch v4l2 utilities. Okay, v4l2. It says downloading, and okay, let's see here. Okay, for extensions, we have it here. They were they returned to dep.txt file, can't say. But this was definitely downloaded. I think this check didn't work. Then else echo nada. Okay, bail out real quick. Hmm. Okay. What happened here? The dep file is again empty, so something is going on here. Let's see what's going on here. Hmm. We did confirm .dep URLs only exists for package that has some dependencies, right? Okay. So yeah, this should work unless. Hmm. Let's see. Printf. I forgot how to use printf. Okay. How do we specify the specifiers? Okay, we pass it outside just like any other language. Okay. So, yeah, see what the status code is. Dollar question mark. Will that tell us anything? Okay, that was definitely. Hmm. Okay, it says 0, which is what we expect. So it should match with. Oh, is it because of this? Hmm. This file is still empty. And one additional thing we can do is while downloading this, we can simply say to save this file as dep.txt. Don't even need the routing to happen. Mm, yeah, I think we were not. Yeah, we're not piping that data into it, I think. Now it should give us the dep.txt file and it will have some content which it can use in the next loop. Okay, okay, slow down, slow down. What went wrong here? We got the dep.txt file and it's empty again. What the hell? And why did that happen? Because when we try downloading this, it downloaded it secretly and then it tries to download the dependency, saving to dep.txt. It says it saved it. What is this hell of a name here? I'm gonna open this URL actually, let's see. Okay, the URL is fine. I don't understand. Let's try running that again. Fetch V4 utilities downloading. Okay, hang on, hang on. Hmm. So we saved that here, and it worked because oh, when we use this here, this variable isn't available anymore. So we gotta get rid of this. Dependencies. Okay, it does get there, but it says nada, 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 nada every single time, which means it's going over here. What? Hmm. Attempting. Okay. It read the dep.txt file. The dependencies are definitely there. So the very first, so it's attempting to call these extension names correctly. So that's good. But then, oh, such a stupid mistake. I think it will work now. Okay. Okay. It says could not download because why? The error happened. Why? Oh, okay. This time, okay, the very first time we call the download function, when we invoke it here, this does not have the suffix .tcz. And when we are calling this, calling it at this point, it does have that suffix. So the naming gets messed up, and that's why it's not able to download. So either we remove that suffix over here, or we assume we invoke the script with .tcz, and if it's not, then we append it. I think that's appending business is easier. Okay, let's see. Ensure extension is not empty. Ensure extension has a suffix .tcz so that we can call it directly. If it doesn't have that suffix, it will add that suffix, and if it has suffix, it won't do anything, and that will make both the cases happy. But how do we check for whether a particular string has another substring inside of it in bash? That's the question here. String. Okay. Conditionals. Substrings. Okay. Substring from the right. So $4 colon minus 33. So position and length. Okay, it's trying to extract substring. I can do that as well. The last 4, or if there is a simple function to check whether something exists inside of it. Okay, it says remove prefix, replace prefix. I think string length, this is arrays. I think this might be the way to do it. Let's try. Does this work? Okay, it does. So we have the extension variable as tcz extension is equal to what? wbar.tcz, and then we gotta do it like tcz_xt, then colon -3 3. Okay, that didn't work. Bash check if string has suffix. I spelled suffix wrong. Okay, ends with. Oh, that's actually smart. If $1 is equal to asterisk dot tcz, then fee. If it doesn't have it, then we add it dot tcz. I think that solves it. Huh? Why it's trying to call this as a command itself? Okay, shouldn't be using it like that. Okay, can't change it apparently. So what we'll do is use a variable here, ext, make that ext. We'll need a else case here as well. $ext is equal to $1, and then this becomes ext, ext.tcz url. I think that should be it. Let's give it another go. Oops, nope. Line 27. I don't understand. This should work as is. I did have $1 here inside of double quote, so that shouldn't be a problem that this variable mines that. Okay. Okay, bad substitution. Well, why is that? Pretty sure that won't work. But why is this a problem all of a sudden? $1.tcc. This should work, but it doesn't. Mm, Essentially, I'm trying to just concatenate these. So why that has to be a problem? Bash string concat. That's kind of what I'm doing. Okay, maybe it will. That should do it. It might be confusing the name. Okay, still mines it. And why the hell am I getting these index.html files here? Why do I have a stray echo here? Extension name. And now we can ensure it has a suffix. Hmm. Oh, it has a problem with this as well. What the hell? How can that be? Oh, Bash doesn't like spaces around this. That's what's happening here. It's still trying to invoke that as a command because I said that here. Don't want it doing that. Will that work? Oh, 25. So the first error happens here, which I can simply do it like this. It still happens. Oh, Oh, what? Hmm. Gonna pause the script here. Like bail out the script here so that it doesn't keep on downloading things. Line 25. Command not found. 25 is this. Oh, it should not be using dollar on this side. Yep. Let's remove this exit that I added. Okay. Started with the right package name, downloaded for the dependency, which is right. Started attempting to download each one of the dependencies, which is good. Then since it's inside of the download function again, it shows the name of the extension, this time with .tcz, and it will be fine because it did just according to it. Perhaps if I move this down below, it will have the consistent naming as well. Okay, did I get nada? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, it started with downloading. Nope. What? Okay, now see, it's still getting the TCC suffix twice. So this isn't working. What? Hmm. Echo adding suffix to ext. So it's adding suffix to this as already, like it doesn't need to, but it's still doing that. So this check is failing. Oh, I had the wrong check here. Should work this time. Oh wow, that failed even quicker. Why does it say this here? This of course was the right earlier, because if this doesn't has this, that's when we need to add it. Adding suffix, downloading dependencies, attempting to download this, adding suffix to this. Hmm. Why did this not work? It has ing. Oh, this one is not in double quote. Hmm. Okay, it's working fine this time. not exactly fine, but let's see. It's downloading a lot of the dependencies. Let's stop it here. Try to download the first dependencies. It did. Then it got 3 of these dependencies. Still have to replace the kernel variable, which we'll do once we make this recursion work. Then it attempts to download this, which obviously fails. Then it attempts to download this one, and this one failed. Why this one would fail? Attempting to download. Lib. What is this? Lib a sound. I just realized I didn't update the name on Twitch. It's supposed to be part 16th. What kind of tags does it expect? What's the stream health? Okay, whatever. Okay, back to this. This didn't work. bzip2 lib. So let's see, why would that be? Okay, there's no dependencies maybe. And yeah, the TCC file downloads just fine. So what the heck? Downloading nada, and we should nada when there is no dependencies, right? Okay, so that's expected here. Okay, let's try running it one more time and see what happens. B4L2 utils adding suffix, 4 dependencies, downloading first one, 3 suffix, downloading the first, second, libudvd. Okay, I think I can simply check whether it works or not by downloading the same package with the other script and just compare the counts of the packages that has been downloaded. And if they're same, then we're good. Okay, while this runs, let's okay, it finished. Oh wow, downloaded some of the dependencies twice, so that's not something. That means this piece of code that we had here, where is it? Where did it go? Okay, over here. So this needs to be just extension now. That's why. Gotta run it again now. Remove all the TCC. Fetch referral to utils. So for the kernel file, what do we gotta do? We do need a variable here for the kernel version. Kernel in our case is 4.19.81 PyCo-v7. I think that's right. I can go to the question I have asked on the forums and see. For some error happened as well. 4.19.81 PyCo-v7. So if I copy it, yep, that matches. And what's the error that our script encountered? Unexpected in a file while looking for matching this line 71, which is, what? Oh, the line has changed since I entered this line. So whatever 71 now is on 73 or 72. I don't know. That confuses me. So we'll have to run it again. Fetch b4 l2 utils. I mean, it's kind of hard to follow, but since dependencies will be shared with different packages, there is no better UI that can be done for it. I mean, yeah, it's like you can indicate how deep you are into a particular dependency tree, but who has the time for it? It's not something that's gonna make much of a difference. It's just gonna run at setup time. So this time it didn't throw any error and it ran just fine. So I do see some modules being missing here because the kernel variable isn't populated. So let's try doing that, and then we can compare the packages, count of packages that has been downloaded by both the scripts. Kernel version to download the appropriate extensions for it. Run uname r on your Linux, on your Pico based Linux OS to see. Kernel name, kernel version, okay. Okay, that's that. Now what? Ensure extension has a suffix. We are looking for replacing the kernel. Okay. So essentially what we can do is check for the existence, right? Replace kernel placeholder in extension name if present. for which the case would simply be if extension has asterisk kernel asterisk in it, then fee, right? Let's pull up the name here. Okay, this is how it will look like. So how do we replace it? Bash replace string portion. I don't want to use this. I don't know how to use this. We'll have to learn it. That's something I don't want to do. Is it easy though? Replace string in a file, replace file with awk. Bash replace substring and string. To replace the first occurrence of a pattern with a given string, use this. First string is I love Susie and Mary. Second string is Sarah. So echo first string Susie. Second string. Oh wow. Could it be? Could it really be this easy? So the first string is ext. You find and then you replace. So we want to find kernel, right, and then replace it with. Oh, this time it has variable. Okay. What are we replacing it with? Okay, this kernel. That should do it. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. So the name to watch out is v4l dvb. Actually, we don't even have to delete this. Okay, we'll have to delete this, otherwise this won't get triggered. I mean, what we can do is make the script function in a way that if where was I? Make the script function in a way if the extension we are trying to download it exists, it skips, but it still attempts to check the dependency tree for it. But that's gonna be a complicated condition here, I think, because we can't simply return over here. We simply skip some steps here, like this. Shouldn't be that hard. Well, if you already have this extension downloaded, let's do it like this. If the extension exists as a file, then echo already exists. Going to check dependencies tree now. Fee and if file exists, going to check dependencies tree. Okay. Then if it doesn't exist, then download the extension and everything comes here. So that this doesn't bail out, this gets skipped, and it still checks the dependencies. Pretty simple. Okay, it worked. It's now attempting to download that missing one. Then the next missing one. Uh, 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 uh. Oh whoa. Slow down. Okay, it had that one. Sweet. This can actually replace this comment itself, and then we can simply say HT here. Now this script looks much better. Okay, let's see. How many files do we have here? Oh, that won't work. 33. So 2 minus 2, the 2 of these and 2 of my files. So 4, 29. 29 extensions. Or I could have just done .tcc. I piped that into this. 28. What? Shouldn't be 29. Okay, let's see. TCC. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is also one line. Okay, this is more accurate. 28 extensions, and let's download. Create another playground and copy the fetch extension to play 2 and go to over there, and we say we want to download what? B4L2 utils. Well, while this runs, I'll go and grab myself some water. I'll be back. I've been I've been on mute. I think when I went to get some water and I came back, I forgot to unmute myself. So sorry about that. That's really stupid. I need some process to make sure that doesn't happen. That happens a lot. God damn it. Okay. Mm, over here, what we're doing is okay. Let's count the files first. Strict DCC and 72. Uh, what? I don't understand. We had like 28 extensions, no? 23 is 84. We only have 72. So what went wrong? Okay. DCC files are indeed 28. So, oh, the dependency files are less. Okay. And then MD5 should be exact as 28, right? So 28, 28, 56, 66, 72. Okay. That makes sense. So since we don't have a dependency file for each extension and only for extensions which do have dependencies, so that's why it's not 84 and 72. And similarly, the whole extension would have had the same thing. It was not able to download two extensions, 26 times 2, 52, 52, and then 16 dependencies or even less, because the ones like these might have dependencies which it would not have accounted for. Okay, I think we're good at this point. It failed to set the permissions on my system, probably because I'm using a Windows subsystem for Linux. So for that, let's try doing something. Uh, let's copy over the script from fetch to here. Now we have them here. Then we can demo these two directories. Do have to copy over some modules, so can't delete that folder. But let's see. Git add fetch.sh. Run script to download dependency. Download extensions with their dependencies. And try to run that on a proper Linux box. Yeah. Okay. Now let's create a temporary directory here, copy over the script to that temporary directory, switch to that temporary directory and call it and ask it to download everything. Oh wow, that's going really slow. What's happening? This should be a whole lot faster than my own box, but I don't know. I guess computers are just being computers at this point. So it took us about 2 hours to write this script. Oh wow, this is going painfully slow. It seems like it's speeding up now. No, spoke too soon. Well, we'll let this run and then let's see what else we'll work on after this one. Something that we can get done quickly. This is the one that we just worked on. And after I run this and confirm the permissions are being set correctly on this Linux box, I'll check this off. These three unfortunately are a little tricky to get done, so we'll see. What I want to do is do something else and while that's running. What? Oh, don't crash on me. Come on, Windows. Good, good, good. Modules, kernel, drivers, touch screen. No, don't have that. Maybe staging. Hmm. Okay, let's open up the thread. Okay, let's see. The drivers I want to download is drivers input touchscreen. Okay. Drivers input. Okay. CD touchscreen. Hmm. I mean, I know that I only need this one, but hmm, the more drivers I use, the more is the memory consumption. But these drivers are like quite small, so and eventually I wanna add support for a bunch of hardware combinations so that it's very unlikely that someone will be able to do the exact hardware screen that I used. So Their display might not work. Their touch touch operation on the screen might not work if it's a touch screen without the right drivers. But we'll see how we're gonna do that. Oh, wow, this is going very slow. Okay. So in the same directory, cp80746, go to git, here capt includes, what do we have? Lib modules, kernel version, kernel drivers. Okay, let's copy that over there and switch to that folder. We have it here, yes. Then we make two directories, input touchscreen, and move this file to input touchscreen over there. And then we come out of this rabbit hole, and we have this file that includes lib modules, version, kernel drivers, input touchscreen, this. Okay, cool. Add touchscreen driver. Come back to our script, still running. Okay, something's definitely wrong. Have I been throttled by the server because of downloading a lot of dependencies? Unlikely, but possible. Might as well use another box to do it. Make directory temp, cd temp. This is a temporary repository that I have. Eventually this will be moved from here. Git clone. Like, why bother with git clone when we only need this extension? So duplicate, got this. B4L2 utils. See, that's going fast. Gonna cancel this one. Okay. I can do this one. I'll have to check all the variables that are declared and make sure I'm being explicit about their type. Since the Raspberry Pi, where this code will eventually run, is a 32-bit operating system. So I'm gonna make sure. Oh, this didn't work either. That's really stupid. 100150 was it? Or does it really require sudo? How does this script do it? Yeah, I mean, that's weird because I'm the user who downloaded it. I'm set as a user of that file itself, yet I can't change the ownership myself without being sudo. Change ownership. Hmm. It doesn't really have any extra access control rules. Does that script do anything differently while it downloads any of this? So let's try to download a small package and see how does it do anything different. Meter to temperature. Okay, change ownership is definitely failing here as well. So what happens to when I put the disk image file together? What happens then? Okay, I've been running that as root user over here, so that's why it never prompted me to do that, because the root user can apparently do it. I think the downloaded files gates some of these flags or some attributes just based on where it's being downloaded, and that what prevents the user who owns the file to change the ownership for it. Or maybe, it doesn't sound like a good idea that the user can change the ownership of any files. I mean, like, it should be able to change the ownership of files that it itself owns, but maybe it's just not allowed. Non-privileged users, not root, cannot change own files to other usernames. To use change ownership, a user must have privileges of the target user. In other words, only root can give a file to another user. Hmm. Okay, so what do we do about it? I guess. Script will now attempt to set file permissions on the downloaded files. If you are not running this as root user or with sudo, this will fail. Simply run change ownership 10150 *.tcc as root user or with sudo to do it yourself. Bash doesn't have single quotes, right? Following command as okay, that should do it. Do want to see the error message myself once, so let's try that. GCC libs. Those who don't know this will be helpful for them, and those who know will simply skip sudo if they're running with the root user. Get this in, doesn't look nice here. Okay, that's good. Okay, our script is done. Let's check this off. Let's get going with this one. What do we have here? Just two files that will have to review. Let's see. Now that I open this file, I recall that I want to do some refactoring with it as well. Oh well. About 550 lines here and 100. Okay, less than 100. Okay, let's see. Let's start from the top. I just want to see how the libraries are declaring errors at the top. Oh, they do it because they're exporting that out of the package. So that's why they use capital alphabet in the beginning. I don't need to, so small one will do. Okay, variables, constant, variable, string, boolean string, boolean string, boolean string. No integer here, okay. So, okay, I guess we just scan manually line by line. No integers declared. What are we doing here? Get a random integer. Okay. Intent returns an integer, a non-negative pseudo-random number. Since that's a small number, it's not of concern. Moving on. Okay, quickly want to check in one thing. The timestamp value that we get in Go language is in seconds or in milliseconds? The number of seconds, okay. And what's the limit of integer 32? Just checking out of curiosity whether an integer 32 is capable of holding the timestamp. I think most likely it is. Just checking though. Okay, here we are. Integer 32 is okay. That's most likely. How do we do it in JavaScript? New date, new time. But now, what? Can't even recall. Let's just Google it. Current timestamp. That might be bigger. Okay, 334. So 10 places. I think we're good. Can't 3, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good. Back to it. This won't really matter since this is just constructing the URL. What else? Okay, so I think this function returns unsigned in 64. And then we have to convert it. So yeah, that will handle it just fine. I mean, I've been told if you're specifying your variables as in32, unsigned in32, in64, then the compiler will handle it for you if you're compiling for a 32-bit architecture. But if you're just using int, you're just calling it int, then that might vary based on what the target architecture is, or whether that's a 32-bit or 64-bit. Because in 32-bit, the maximum number that it can hold will be different from the 64-bit one. But if you're explicit about it, the compiler takes care of it. Okay, this. I don't have any numbers going on at all, so now comes the significant functions, which actually deals with the cryptography stuff. String error. Don't think I have to do anything with the library. They've got to have their shit together. Okay, pretty good. This one doesn't deal with strings at all, so nothing to see here. I think that was a quick to do, but I do want to be thorough. So where did I ask this question? Stack Overflow? I don't know. Just want to revisit that and make sure that I understand what was being talked about. Okay, Copra language program requiring UN64 compiling for TTP architecture. I'm currently working on a program. On 32-bit architecture, int will be in 32, so you might want to check all ints. If you'll explicitly declared variables as in 32 or in 64, they'll work just fine. Not sure, but is it really just that? I don't even need to test separately for 32-bit architecture in any way. If you can, add any additional info as to how to scale down. The only architecture dependent types are int, uint, and uint pointer. You should explicitly check these. Any untyped numeric literal passed as interface will also be int, so you should check those as well. Okay, we did check for these, not really declaring any or using any as such. I'm only relying on well-known libraries, so they can't be doing that kind of thing either. You also have to check any untyped numeric literal, declared constants and literal values passed as interface, because those will be passed as int as well. So I'm not sure about how to check for this. Quickly gonna check if my pull request was accepted. Nope. Oh well. Looks like I might have to go through this library at least and ensure that no integers are being passed around. And the interface bit that I don't fully understand. So this to do will have to stay open for now. And what else? What else can we do right now? We can check for this. Let's do this. So where are the function that we're generating the keys? Over here. So okay, we generate a new master. Let's go inside of that. Seed must be in this range, and the key is usable, which is checked by this. The error is error unusable seed. This error indicates the caller must choose another seed. Okay, so if the same error happens while we're trying to derive an address as a child, do we throw the same error or some other error? Error invalid child, okay. Okay. Okay, let's check for this error while generating here. Yes, this is great. So how do we handle that? Where is this function invoked? Once at unlock wallet handler. Okay, that comes later on. The generation side would be this get master key, which would be what? It didn't run. Oh, it did run. Okay, so when that can only happen on the generation step if you're importing. If you're scanning the QR, that was exported from our side as well, so nobody would be able to get to that point without a valid mnemonic and passphrase combination. But if they're coming from another wallet, they can type it in, and The same check will have to happen at the unlock wallet event here, because this fires the unlock wallet handler. Yep, unlock wallet handler. And at the generation step, they proceed with this mnemonic. They do this. And where is the view prompt? Okay, this is pretty cool. Okay, can I just get the Vue.js toggle here? What happened to it? This happened earlier on and I forgot what I had to do to turn it on again. I guess we'll just go through this process for now. Can I do this? App.data. What? Nope. Okay, at this point, when they choose a passphrase, unlock wallet. Okay. So the both time it's the unlock wallet that's get called here. And unlock wallet handler does what? read from here, body, unmarshal into unlock wallet request, which should be mnemonic and passphrase and decryption key. Okay. And then what are we doing here? B64, need to decrypt mnemonic. Decode string encoding. I don't know why we're doing this. Should have added a comment here. Decrypt this string and decryption key, this passphrase, da da da. Validate mnemonic. If that is false, okay, at this point, generate wallet. Save MP. Okay, whatever. What the hell? I'm clearing them here and I'm passing the address here. This should have been passed as a copy and not a reference if I intend to clear it here. This can't be right. This function just uses the value from there and copy to the global variables here. I think that's what's happening here. Yep. Okay. We were at generate wallet function here. Okay. And this was called at a few places. I think master key just invokes that from the mnemonic and passphrase. I mean, like when you're attempting to do something with those, provided that these checks that have to happen has passed through, only then these functions use it. So if I, okay, let's see this. First occurrence is at unlock wallet handler, which is where we need to handle the error. Second occurrence is the definition itself, and third is where this is called. And if we look for where this function is called, it's either in getting the extended pub key or the definition itself. So this is the only usage. Okay, that makes sense. Now inside of this function, it can simply return that error which happened here. Right, so we need to catch it here and add more explanation to it, because otherwise the error is gonna be error unusable seed, which is unusable seed. Okay. That error will be handled here. If error is not equal to null, then put the error message here. Okay. So at this point, I have to check whether that particular error is this one. And I remember recalling very good standard practice of how to handle this. Oh, the spam message is gone itself by itself. Okay. What I gotta do? Yeah. Go language, error formatting. Like this. If error is not equal to null, then if error is equal to the name that we have, which is error invalid seed length. In that case, we have to change the value of the error here so that when this error is bubbled up, 390 line, we'll come back to it. When this error is bubbled up here and this error is taken back to the front end, the error message makes sense. Okay, I accidentally pressed that button here. I'm unmuted? Yes, I'm unmuted. Okay, moving on. Let's go. If error invalid seed length is error, then the error that we want to return to the front end is what? Perhaps the better place to handle the error is over here, so that that function can stay completely technical. Over here we can check if error is this defined even, is this it will have to be used as hg.keychain. Considering it has to use that makes me put that thingy here only. Okay, this is invalid seed length. So seed is derived from mnemonic and passphrase. So something is wrong with the, I mean, seed is what we are generating ourselves over here. Something is wrong with the mnemonic if seed isn't right. But won't this catch it at all? It doesn't. Errors is not new. Mnemonics can not be wrong. It's only the passphrase. Check input or generate slash choose different ones. What is this happening? Initializing JavaScript TypeScript language features. Why? That extension is doing it. Okay. Can't really escape JavaScript hell these days. Invalid seed generated from your mnemonic and passphrase. Check input or are you sure they're correct? This one picks it up, but why does this one not? Oh, because I spelled it wrong. That's why. And then in this case, errors not new and Okay, so we've done these errors, and how am I gonna check for them though? I'm not sure, because not easy to trigger them. So we'll just fake it, I guess. And for that, what I'll have to do is, at any time this runs, I'll simply throw this error. So we kinda comment this out for a while, along with everything, so that this error indeed happens, and this simply returns it. I just realized my Go FMT, my Go formatter doesn't run on its own anymore because I cleared out a bunch of extensions. And oh well, okay. 225. Unexpected generate value mnemonic expecting what? I think it's a case of a missing. Cannot refer to an exported name errors.new 390. What? Oh, it does. So whenever you create errors.new, it has to be exported. Errors.new. Gotta look that up. No, not that. What the fuck are you still doing? I hope the extension isn't doing anything shitty. It's constantly downloading that much data. What the hell?